Okay. We are all good, and we should be live on Facebook now as well.
Facebook. All right.
Good morning, Facebook.
Hi, y'all.
So, yeah, we were wishing everybody happy St. Patrick's Day, and I didn't realize this was quite so voluminous, so large. So I feel like it's like always like
shifting.
It's
pretty though.
Mm-hmm. If I give you a peek of bra strap, just know that I've got my crystals harnessed, and we'll move on.
Should we draw a card just to get us started, like the energy for the day today? Because I feel a little blah.
Want me to draw one too?
Yeah, let's both draw a card and like what can support us today as we get ready to, here we are mid-month.
Okay. So when I opened this deck and took it out,
I gotta say something real quick. So this is so funny because one of my co-star thing popped up, and it said, "A year from now, you'll be glad you did this."
Aww.
I feel like that was a little message because I've been asking for a message today. Like, am I even on the right path? Am I even doing what I'm here to do? Like, I just feel like sometimes I have not got it together, you know. So that was Spirit saying, "Hey, a year from now, you're going to be happy you did." Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yes, that's fine.
Go ahead.
So when I pulled these out of the box, the top one flipped off.
Oh.
And so I looked at it. Same card, observer. So today we need to be neutral. We need to just not let it get to us. Whatever comes, and
Watch the madness around us.
And what can we learn from it so that we don't get sucked in?
Mm-hmm. And then for the energy right now, I pulled the stars in the sky. Limitless possibilities. So I think they're just trying to give us a little bit of hope and not to get emotionally attached to
outcomes.
Yeah. Are we even live? Did I hit the go button?
I don't know. I don't think you did.
See, I told y'all it's like Mercury retrograde. Unable to broadcast unless you upgrade.
Well,
Rosalie, can you see if you can get on? See, it is like Mercury retrograde.
I thought it said update. I think maybe you have to update your app.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Well, Facebook, glad that you guys are here.
We're coming.
Oh, and it was, the whole morning has gone like this because I got up early and I looked at the clock. I was doing some things, looked at the clock. It was 8:30 and I thought, I've got a whole hour before I have to like be doing things, right? And so I started something else, was doing that, looked back at the clock, it was 9:45 and I had not gotten in the shower yet. And it takes like 30 minutes to set all this stuff up, and so I was in a mad frenzy.
well, you both look lovely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let me switch this around. There we go. Try that.
And now we're gonna cook in.
How's your maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, now we're live.
There we go.
All right.
Good morning, Instagram. We're sorry we're late. We had a little technical snafu this morning, but we are glad to be here on this St. Patrick's Day.
The slow starter today.
Yeah. So Instagram, we did pull some cards around the energy for the day, and I pulled the Observer card. So feel like we need to kind of be neutral in our observations today, and just kind of like step back and like you said, watch the madness around you and not get sucked into it.
Yeah, and then I pulled the limitless possibilities. So I think that's giving us hope that, you know, there are many possibilities in this world, not to get discouraged, and also just to, like you said, observe the madness around us and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Hey, Michelle, and is that Carrie?
It is Carrie.
Hey, Terri. Glad to see you on the Insta.
Yeah. So we have a couple of questions to get us started. So if anybody's joining live and you want to ask a question, we have Camille over here in her green t-shirt. Who needs luck? I have charm. And Rosalie with her bandana, her shamrock bandana, her earrings,
and her Irish socks. Just keep showing us the Irish socks.
Say, kiss me, I'm Irish. You an Irish girl?
You ain't got to know that.
Just for today.
You ain't got to know.
Okay. First question, and I hope I'm not mangling this name. Tinayah?
That's right.
is struggling mentally and could use some advice.
All right, Tinayah, I'm sorry that you were struggling. I think so am I today. Oh, happy Friday, Michelle. Love you too. She should have frequent flyer points.
She should. She really should.
You're almost every week, pretty much. All right. Oh, I forgot one question. I'll send it over to you. See, it's just the way the day is go.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Well, there you
There
go.
we go. Okay. Thank you for that, Spirit.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Oh.
We're so roundabout today.
I so love this for you because, like,
Oh.
yeah, healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. It's safe to soften. That's for you, Tinayah. I love that, especially if you're having a hard time. A little bit of encouragement from Spirit.
Absolutely. And I pulled some animal spirit cards. So these are kind of like the spirit animals, animal totems that you can kind of like call on to help you. And the first one I pulled is the armadillo spirit, and it's about setting healthy boundaries. And then I just felt like I needed to pull another one, and I got the antelope spirit, and it says life is speeding up. And if you notice, this card is number 3, and this card is number 2, and so it's like a countdown to 1. So obviously, life is speeding up, but it's the countdown part kind of makes me feel like it's there's a destination. You're headed toward something, and obviously, if things are speeding up, then you're gonna feel more frazzled and kind of like disconnected in some ways. But the journey card that I pulled for you is honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. So that goes back to setting healthy boundaries for yourself, and kind of like using that to keep you a little more even keel, and not allow the pace to kind of. I know for me, when stuff sees up like that, I kind of like my thoughts start to spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Like I move from one thing to the next, and then all of a sudden I'm completely overwhelmed. So healthy boundaries can help with that.
So I pulled. Oh, that's interesting. You pulled that too. I pulled the wisdom card for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Emily. Hi, Oceanhappy. So I pulled the wisdom card for you. So take this time that see what it is that you need to learn from the situations that are confronting you right now, or that are causing this distress in your life, and see what lessons you can learn from that and what you can integrate and use to move forward in your on your path. Because then I pulled the new beginnings card, so which kind of goes with your card. Like, we have to. Sometimes it's like really shitty right before it gets better. So, and then I pulled you're going to the next level. So a lot of times sitting in that yuck or feeling like we're struggling is right before we have the breakthrough, and sometimes we have to confront those mental blocks that are keeping us where we are. And I'm preaching that to myself too.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like you're in that place of wounding, like you're cutting away the parts that you can't carry to the next level. And so there's a lot of like pain and healing that has to happen as you kind of like shed all that stuff, so your vibration is high enough to.
Yep. And then I pulled name that thing. Look at that cool card. I love that. Confronting the thing and naming it is the best way of dealing with it. By banishing it, we keep the body and mind healthy. So even you saying, I'm struggling mentally right now, emotionally, whatever, just being able to say that is confronting and banishing by being able to reach out and say, I am struggling. So I feel like new things are coming for you. And just hold on. And then I pulled this card. I'm not really sure what it means, but I'm going to go with it. It talks about are you being bullheaded, or is there someone around you? And I also feel Taurus vibes with this. So is anything that you're dealing with having to do with a Taurus, or are you a Taurus? And is there any way to soften? Because that was the card here as well. You're not broken. Trust the process. Healing is happening. It's okay to soften. So just figure out what ways that you can soften that are safe for you to soften and continue healing.
I feel like that's kind of connected to the boundaries card. It's like maybe someone is keeps repeating something, and maybe there's a boundary that needs to happen so that they're not involved in it anymore.
All right.
Just speculation, though.
And we're sending you love and hope that things get better for you soon. I'm sorry that you are having a hard time.
Well, I think just globally there's an overall feeling of struggle right now. It's kind of like in the collective. There's a lot of unknown. Yeah, and that makes everybody kind of feel they're struggling.
Okay.
Hey, girl.
All right, from Margaret. My husband and I have found ourselves homeless. We had the opportunity to room with an older couple. What is the energy around that? Should we continue to look for a better situation for living?
Should we do 2 piles, you think? One for moving in with this couple and then one with... Okay. Are you feeling anything just initially off of that question?
I mean, the first thing I kind of felt was that if they did decide to take this first opportunity, it would only be it would be like a stepping stone. You would go into it knowing it was temporary, like it was not going to be a long term.
That makes sense. Yeah, I pulled, if you do pick that first one, thanks Emily, see you later. This would be like a recovery time. So just time to kind of get your feet up underneath you. Let's see.
So that one's pretty up. I don't know why. So this is my pile for taking the first opportunity and moving in with, was it elderly couple, she said? Older couple.
Yep.
So this is my pile for that, and the story of the cards is kind of more about why this is happening right now than it is about that particular situation, about moving in with that person, which I don't feel like is a bad option for the moment. Because I feel like whatever you do next is temporary. But the first card, I'm just going to show all the cards before I speak, because I feel like they're telling a story. So the first card I pulled was Mending, and then the next card was Milk and Honey. Breathe through the tension, and then I pulled the Peace card and the Purpose card. And the Peace card says, I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. I know what I'm here to do. So I definitely feel like there's, even though it's crappy, there's a reason, there's a definitive purpose behind why this has happened. With the mending, I feel like it's going to, the situation and how it plays out is going to help heal something or help fix something. But the Milk and Honey is about abundance. So whether it's just the growth that happens, the lessons that are learned, whatever, you're going to come out on the other side of this richer than when you went in. So I mean, that's just like the story that I get from these cards, and it's more about the situation than it is about like the answer of moving into that specific location.
So the cards that I pulled around that situation of moving in with this older couple is recovery. So I feel like it'd be a time for you to recover financially. Having flexibility So it would be, you have to be flexible whenever you live with other people, and also this isn't really what you are probably wanting to have happen. But just remembering to be flexible. And also pull the protector guy, which talks about setting boundaries. So I don't know if, I feel like you will be protected, but there might be some boundary issues that come up that need to be looked at. And then illusionary obstacles. So if you're seeing this as an obstacle, or this is like confronting you as an obstacle at this time, sorry, I don't think that that is necessarily true. It may just be a time for recovery. And so, like, overall, I don't feel bad about it, but like Chandra said, I feel like it is a temporary situation. And then for continuing to look, which it feels like could either be further down the line or the next step, I got big happy changes and transcending this situation into something better. And then the giraffe card, which talks about it's time to stand out. So, maybe you're having to stick your neck out a little bit in order to get what you want. And then trust in science. And to me, that speaks to like trusting the facts. Know that you have got everything together in order to create what you want. So don't just half-ass it. Like, make sure you have like a budget, or you know exactly how much money you're going to make, how much money you can pay out, and that kind of thing. Like being very factual about things.
Yeah. The cards that I pulled on the option of waiting for a different location was the hummingbird spirit, but it was in reverse, and it says "Be here now." And it talks about how there's good stuff everywhere. There's nectar everywhere. But if you flip from one thing to the next real fast, you never enjoy the moment. So it's talking about being present, being still, and just what you just said, putting your attention toward the things that you want to attract, and allowing that energy to flow to you. So, and then I pulled the dog spirit, and it says, "Be loyal to those you love." It was also in reverse. And it talks about how, be careful of who you're loyal to.
Yeah.
Loyalty to people and situations can turn into attachments and result in stagnation, enmeshment, and loss of integrity. Do you fear what will happen if you let a relationship evolve? Are you afraid of asking for a situation to change? Will that make others disloyal? So that kind of goes back to the... it's reminding me of boundaries. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of this, talking about the loyalty part, has to do with that mending card. Like there's a loyalty there that is not serving you at this point, and you need to kind of be aware of it and take a hard look at it while you have the time to do that.
Can you add someone to our list of questions?
Sure.
It's Oceanhappy, and she's seeing shadows in her peripheral again. Is it a warning or support? What area needs attention? Very interesting. Oceanhappy. All right, what's next on our list?
Next question is from Lisa. She just rescued a puppy. What is the message here?
So I'm just getting a message. And it's like, and I mean this totally out of love, it's like you're always attracting things that need to be rescued. So what about rescuing you?
And
that's, yeah.
And I felt the next step of that.
Okay.
Because what I felt was, new animals. They're just, they're so spunky and they're all over you and they're just so high energy. I kind of felt like it was to kind of shake things up for you, something different, and bring that kind of level of joy and happiness and
changing the energy vibe.
I don't disagree. That probably is something to be aware of and to look at. But I just felt like it because when I tried to hone in on the dog, all I saw was like the wiggly butt and jumping on you and just being so happy. And I know it's going to infuse into your life as well.
So I pulled this card around the dog itself, which was energy. The fire spirit. So if the dog is like that, that would totally make sense. And it talks about incredible vitality, life force, energy, and passion are expanding in your life. If you feel drained by expectations of others, don't hold back. Ignite your inner fire. Speak your truth. And let the light of the Creator surge through you. But I think that the first message that came through was the clearest thing for me. So I don't necessarily know that you're supposed to keep this dog. Maybe you're supposed to be giving it to someone else. Maybe that person is going to come along that needs to have that dog. Yeah. I feel like it's a temporary situation, but I don't know, girl. You get to choose.
I also felt like it was intended to be temporary, just to kind of get that infusion of some higher energy and that kind of stuff. But we have free will, so
do whatever we want to do.
You never know. Yep. It was intended to be temporary, but who knows how it's going to turn out.
Right. All right. What's next?
All right. From Sandy. Hello. I'd like to ask if a female coworker has a problem with me, please. She is very harsh at times. She is frustrated and wants a transfer from the department we both work in. Thanks.
So the first thing that pops in my mind is she has a problem, but it's not with you, it's with herself.
Yeah, she's got a problem with everybody. Like, she's unhappy, so she's just kind of spewing that out around whoever's closest to her. Yeah. So I wouldn't take it personally.
No, there's something about that environment that is bringing up something for her that she doesn't like about herself, even though she may not admit that or even know that consciously. But it's triggering her in some way, and that's why she's lashing back out at people.
Yeah, and it may be some aspect of you which is not saying anything negative, that you are doing anything to her on purpose to rile her up. But sometimes just by people having certain personality traits that can be like some part of you that you haven't quite grasped yet. Like if somebody knows a lot about something and it could irritate you that they know so much, and you could be in your mind being like, oh, they're just a know-it-all, but actually they know stuff. So it could be something energetically like that too, like some missing part of herself that you have that she's pissed off she doesn't have.
Right. Or it could even be as simple as like numbers. Well, numbers come easy to you. Like you can sit down with an Excel spreadsheet and in 15 minutes you've got everything that you need. And she can do that as well, but maybe she struggles to do that, and it takes her a lot longer. She can get there, but she has to put more effort into it. And so, she sees that it's easy for you and it's not easy for her. And it could be something as simple as that kind of like causes the trigger. Yeah. We never know what somebody else thinks.
Yeah. So I got clear your mind, but it feels like that means like clear your energy before you go to work, and like don't take any of that stuff personally, and then think big and move into the next level. So, to know, like, have some compassion for her that she's, so hurt and angry and upset and so unhappy that she's acting that way. That can give you like a level of compassion. And the choice is yours how you want to handle it. Do you want to look at it in love and compassion, or do you want to look at it with like firing back at her? So see if you can put yourself as the observer. And then I pulled the environment card that says your environment needs a change. So maybe she's the one whose environment needs a change.
Yeah, I mean, the change in your environment could be her leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me.
So I can't make
Oh,
this stuff
that's
up. I have this deck called the Rebel deck, and it's it's kind of rude and crude. We call it the hard love deck. And so I pulled one of those just to see what it was going to say, and it says, "Shit is going down with your job. Reevaluate, change your perspective, or effing quit."
Yeah.
So
That's kind of that.
It's just validation that it's not you. You're not crazy. Stuff really is going on. There's energy. Energy. I asked what you could do to manifest the work environment that you wanted to create, and I got the relax card. So it's exactly what you said, like neutral observer. Just let her spiral and let her spew and let her have her hissy fit, and just not let it affect you.
Yeah, which is easier said than done sometimes. But, just trying to bubble yourself up.
Right. And as far as like soul's journey, like what is this hardship kind of like about? I pulled the judgment card. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. So it's like, don't judge her. She's struggling with something on her own. So it's kind of like we need to have compassion for her because, obviously it must be difficult because of the way that she's acting. I'm going to go ahead and say it because it popped into my mind while I was shuffling cards. But I thought one way that you could support her would be to start looking for jobs for her if she wants to leave so badly. And just like, oh, girl, I saw this job on LinkedIn. It sounds like it would be perfect for you. You should go interview. You should go interview. I got it pulled up and you just sent in your resume. I'll just throw that out there because it did pop in my mind. So.
All right. Next is from Terri. Good morning. I was wondering if there's any messages for me today. Thank you.
All right, Terri. Let's see. I'm going to use the Rose Oracle deck. This is a very broad question, and see what the Divine Feminine has to say to you today.
Is it me?
Is it you?
Is it me?
Are you the milk and honey?
Well, like, how do I pull the same cards over and over and over?
Oh, well, but this might be receive abundance, so this could be a theme for you today, Terri. This is good cards. I like it. Let me find this one because this one's hard to find in the book. Let's see. Page 72. 72 says, "Come to me, attracting like a rose, receive abundance and desires." It talks about, the card is about receiving abundance, rose style. It's an invitation to receive the sweetness of your life, to embrace the magnificence of who you are, and also to open yourself up to the possibility of receiving what you yearn for deeply. To be clear on what you desire, to trust that all that's meant for you wants to come to you. To state your desires out loud and let your yearnings be known. To ask for what you desire. So that's what Spirit's saying. Be open to receive the abundance, but also be clear on what it is that you want.
And I mean, the card that I pulled is pretty much says the same thing as we've seen it before. Milk and honey. It's about abundance and allowing things to flow to you rather than you running for them. Just about attracting them. And I also pulled the regeneration card, but in reverse. And so that that's talking about allowing the things that need to die off, so that you can have a new beginning. And the one passage that I read, there's no need to grieve. There's no need to struggle. There's no need to grieve. It's time to go, and then the abundance is on the other side.
Nice, love that. Let us know how that works out, Terri, because I could have used some of those cards.
Okay. Next is from Oceanhappy. Apparently, seeing shadows in the peripheral. Is it a warning or protection?
Honestly, don't know that it feels like it's either one of those things. it feels like to me it's ancestors or spirits, and I don't think it's either a warning or a blessing, or I feel like it's just like they're coming to say hello.
The first card I pulled was self-esteem. And get this, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. So, I mean, it's just validation that the fact that you're seeing them is kind of bringing up your intuitive gifts, right? You're clairvoyant. You can see spirit. So, just they're like you said, if it's ancestors and guides, they're there to kind of bring that to the forefront, so that your gifts can benefit yourself and others. So it's like a call to embrace them. And then the second card, service. I feel good when I can help others. So, it definitely that can benefit me and others, and a call to service. So it's just kind of like bringing those gifts up to the surface so that you can give them more attention.
Go ahead.
And both of these cards are yellow-orange. So very like solar plexus, sacral. So I feel like you kind of know.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a little bit of a knowing of what's going on. And I'm not saying that you don't, but whether you want to admit it or not, you kind of like have a gut feeling about what it is.
Yeah. And so my question to you, Oceanhappy, is: are you wanting to develop these gifts, or do you already do this kind of thing? Because I pulled the abundance card, so it's like I feel like Spirit is wanting you to start opening up that part of yourself, but it's up to you. Which is the next card that I pulled. It's up to you. So it's up to you to decide if you want to be of service in that way, like Chandra and I are of service when we sit here and do this. And then I pulled the doorkeeper. So it says discernment is key. It's time to decide who gets access to you. But I feel like, if like you have a doorkeeper or a protector guide that helps with what spirits come in and go out. So I think that's like, it's like you need to make a decision about what it is that you want to do. If you want to pursue this, or you're like, no, thanks, I'm good, I don't want to see spirit.
That's kind of like that up to you card. It's like, if it's up to you, you can, and if you don't want these things, then you can tell your doorkeeper to
Shut the door.
shut the door and not let them in. Don't want to
the
see
door.
anymore. Or you can tell your doorkeeper,
I only want to see certain things.
I only want to see certain things, or can my guides get me an answer as to who they are and what they want? Like why are they here? They can help either way.
Yeah. But I feel like if you want to do this, that there's an abundance of situations that you can grow from. So let us know what you decide to do. Come on and read cards with us sometime.
But the good news is it's not like, it's not good or bad. It's not like, there's no warning, there's no...
It's just an opening.
Yeah.
The door's opening.
All right, question from Tovi.
Tovi.
Tovi?
Good morning. I am wondering if there is a message for me in connection with my newfound love and healing work with the runes. Since my awakening, I have had so many newfound loves for divination, but this feels more grounded. Does Spirit have any messages about this?
Or you've totally been somewhere doing that thing with runes before.
Yeah, I felt like that they were...
Past life connection, for
Yeah,
sure.
well, they were so grounding because it was like going home.
I'm trying to see if they will give me a picture of what that looks like. What that lifetime looked like. So, Tovi, it feels like you were Mel. I was reading the answer down there at the same time. It feels like you were Mel in that lifetime. And I see like a long brown robe and like sorceress. Maybe you're a female, but sorceress. I'm getting that total kind of vibe of like, casting runes and fortune telling, but I feel like you are male. And yeah, you go ahead, because there's more coming through, but I don't want to hold you up.
Oh, no, that's fine. Well, the first card that came out was the Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation, which you said these feel very grounding to you, so that makes total sense. And then the Badger Spirit, be fearless and bold. So if this is something that you really love to do, and it's kind of like something that you're resonating with, even if it's just at the moment, I kind of feel like flow with it. Just kind of see where it's going to take you, and just be curious about where it can go.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like in that lifetime that you, because of what you could do, you had kind of a position of power, and you enjoyed being in that position and being able to use those things in order to, the words that are coming through are gain favor. So I feel like you were in, like in the king's court or the queen's court, and you were kind of doing this as like almost like a jester kind of person, but a sorceress instead. And as far as using them for healing, I think just tapping back into that energy is going to help you tap into that energy of like, what was the one card you pulled? You pulled the two.
Foundation, Badger and Beaver, solid foundation, be fearless.
Be fearless and bold. Because I think that's the feeling that you got in that lifetime. Like it gave you a feeling of being fearless. And then if you look at this card, the crossing, I mean, you got to cross that. So you got to be fearless and bold in order to walk across to get to the other side. Step in the boat waiting for you. Let it carry you into the cave where the shadows are waiting to be illuminated. So you can be born again into the world without denial or artifice. Making the crossing is a beautiful, powerful act of the highest love. So I feel like, you walking into that that power, it's going to bring back a power within you. I don't know, because also looking at this card, it's like there's a portal on the card. So maybe it will almost like take you back to the way that you felt during that lifetime. And you'll be able to harness that energy of who you were and that power. So I love that. Man, that's cool. Very cool. That's powerful.
That's it. That's all the questions.
That's it?
That's it.
All right.
So
SacredMeow joint.
I'm going to pull a card from Michelle, because like you said, she's frequent flyer.
Frequent flyer.
I don't even know if she's still watching, but
all right. Well, flying out.
One was for short. Oh, the bee spirit. Sweet results await.
Step out of your own way and have patience. Then you get those sweet results.
Oh, God. I'm sorry we did that, Michelle, because every time we read for you, you get the patience card.
I know.
And she's like, how much longer do I need to be patient?
Yeah. This one keeps coming up for a lot of people. The protector guide, setting good, healthy boundaries. So, Michelle, if that's something that you need to do with someone in your life, setting healthy boundaries. But even if that has to do with like setting healthy boundaries for yourself, like I'm not going to sit on the couch and eat bonbons all day. I'm going to go out and take a walk.
Yeah. Or I need to do this for myself right now, so your laundry can wait 5 minutes.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm going to go do what I need to do right now, and then I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's not a question, but Shaun says, good morning.
Hey, Shaun. All right. Well, I guess. Official Britain read.
I know.
Serendipitous meeting with a man years ago. Universal pause. Reconnection. Cosmic level connection. Love reading. How do you feel on this incredible connection? Oh, all right. Spirit will bring them back around whenever you're ready sometimes. Sometimes they got to go do something else, or you got to go do something else. I feel like there is definitely a past life connection. And that's interesting. Because I pulled the reconsider card, and maybe that's like the time apart was a time to kind of reconsider, or you might have to reconsider this connection. Sometimes, like with pulling that reconsider card, I've had like really strong connections with people, and know that 100% sure we've had a past life together. But sometimes when we have those strong connections, it's like people we gotta learn lessons from, and sometimes it ain't super easy, sometimes it's painful, but like clearing up karma kind of a feeling.
Well, I don't want to be Debbie Downer.
I know.
You got the reconsider card. I got time to go, and there's actually a relationship section in this book. Like each card has a general message, a relationship message, a prosperity message, and a protection message. The relationship message for this particular card is it's over, or at least the form this relationship has taken is no longer of service to you or the other person. This is a time of letting go, of knowing that the journey has come to its conclusion. That doesn't mean anything is lost, although this card could speak to a breakup or a drifting apart, or the end of a soul contract. It's more about release than destruction. Remember the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Endings are always a sign of new beginnings. If you want something deeper, walk away. So, you haven't talked about that card yet, have you?
No, so
that's what I feel like has to do with this card. Is like, y'all got to clear all that shit out.
Yeah, I pulled the communicate clearly card, and so yeah, I think there could be some underlying things, like the connection can feel really good, but there could be some underlying issues that maybe you're ignoring because the connection is so awesome. So make sure that you are looking at it with clear eyes and not the rose-colored glasses. Because I know when that connection is so intense that sometimes you put away the things that are like, but that could be a little bit of a red flag. So just keep that in mind and make sure that you're keeping your eyes open with everything that's going on around you.
Can I interject? Because the feeling that I'm getting is kind of like the the reconsider and the time to go, like the breaks right now. But I'm also feeling that, like the communicate clearly and the soul contact and the karma, that if you guys can work through that now, that it's not necessarily the end of the relationship. Like I feel like to get to anything like that, you're gonna have to clear out all that karmic shit up front and deal with it and get it out of the way and over with and behind both of you before anything else is going to I know it feels good, but any other like good connection,
like a real deep connection, not just this the emotional connection that you're feeling right now.
I don't really feel like that it's not at all him walk away.
Right.
But I feel like there's stuff that needs to be taken care of now before.
I agree. And then I pulled the courage card too. So having the courage to have those conversations, or having the courage to really look at it and see the flaws, because you got to work through stuff. I think any couple who gets together who has lived any kind of life that's separate from each other, there's going to be stuff that needs to be worked through. And then I pulled Miracles card. So, if you can do these things, like have these difficult conversations and have the courage to really face, the shadow sides of each other, then you could have this. Absolutely. But don't ignore any of the things that are like little red flags or little things that come up that are like, just because that connection is so strong and it feels so good.
Yeah, or the reason why it didn't work the first time. I'm happy to do that.
We have another question on here too.
Okay.
We got SacredMeow.
Okay.
I love a general read.
Yeah.
If I'm not too late, don't want to be inconvenient at all. Life has felt a bit of a struggle this week. Girl, reach. Okay.
We
I don't know who was first.
We have a question from Shaun.
Okay.
Looking at a job in the States. Anything in that?
I want to move here. Yay! All down in North Carolina. Look at me for real in person.
It's just like everything we tell you, Shaun. You know the answer. Attend to the divine. You know what's right for you.
Step out of your own way.
Believe in your good luck. So if this just kind of like dropped in your lap out of the blue, or kind of like you were in the right place at the right time, believe that was synchronicity.
Synchronous.
Doesn't mean that it's like the right decision, but just know it was put in front of you for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I pulled the Angels card too, and it says divine intervention is at play. So to me, this feels like this could be something worth looking into. I want to pull one more card from the Angel Answers cards.
Well, he says all the same stuff. You girls are dialed in.
One more card.
What was I going to say?
Big happy changes. So it feels good to me. I don't know if you can be anywhere near us, but if you are, we have to get together.
Absolutely. But one thing, when you were talking about that Angels card, what popped into my mind was just kind of like, it's already been orchestrated. So kind of like if it's the decision that's bothering you, turn it over to Spirit.
Yeah.
They're already figuring it all out behind the scenes anyway. So just turn it over to them and let them kind of force. I don't want to say force the decision, but show you in tangible ways what needs to happen.
Okay.
And then SacredMeow, but struggle.
General reading, rough week, I think, from SacredMeow.
Yeah.
I think we all bought a ticket on a struggle bus.
Yeah. So I want to find some encouragement for you this week. And then kind of the Shaman's Dream Oracle cards.
And Shaun said Midwest, by the way.
Well,
So now we got somebody you can go visit.
yeah, exactly. I think this might be for Shaun. I think this is for you, Shaun, if you're still watching. Fortune's wheel, luck, and right timing. So, I've got a 4 different one for something.
So I asked the Oracle deck what was kind of like the underlying reason of the feeling of struggle, and what I got is no place like home, but in reverse. And it's talking about that there are times when what is familiar and known is not the best choice. That we're memory driven, but sometimes our memories of places, persons, or events are not accurate. Even the qualities we seek in other people and external conditions are expressed in unhealthy ways. Avoid being too eager to find home. Maybe the crux of the struggle is kind of like fear of the unknown. You always get all of that resistance when there's change to be made and it's uncomfortable, and you just want to stay in your comfort zone, and life or spirit or everything around you is pulling you out of that comfort zone and to do something different.
Yeah, inner child work. Yay. So I pulled this Tell Your Story card. I'm going to read it to you. Give yourself permission to tell your story, for it is your truth. Allow others to bear witness. Sharing your story is powerful. Owning it completely is to stand in your light and shine. Doing so may provide an opportunity to address any past issues that still cause confusion, heartache, or have you feeling afraid and angry. Sharing can bring clarity and help to dissolve the emotional bonds that anchor you to the moment. It can help you heal or transcend them. It can help you move forward with a lighter heart and spirit. Share what's in your heart and mind, Little Bird says. Sing your song, whether it be sweet or sorrowful. It is beautiful and powerful.
So I asked before you
Sorry.
I asked the manifestation deck, like, what can you do to kind of like work through this a little faster? And as you were reading, sharing can bring clarity and help to dissolve the emotional bonds that anchor you to the moment. And I pulled think it through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you have to think through the story to be able to tell it to somebody else, to be able to share it. So as you were reading that, I was like, because I was sitting here trying to Spirit, tell me what that means, because I have no idea what that means. But when you read that line, I'm like, oh, that's what that means. Is you're going to have to get, because when we're doing our child work, it's like there's stuff that bubbles up that we don't really remember, and it comes back. So it's kind of like think it through, like let that stuff come up, and then share it and tell your story.
And being able to tell your story is actually really powerful and healing. So if you have a trusted friend that you can write these things down and share it with them, just so that someone else is witness to your work.
And your truth.
Your truth, yeah. That can be very healing. So we're sending you love.
Yeah. That's it.
All right, y'all. Well, I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend.
And we appreciate everybody staying with us and waiting for us while we were on the struggle bus with the technology this morning. So Sweet Rosalie came out with our newsletter yesterday. So I hope you guys were on the mailing list for that. If you're not, you can go to our homepage, Ohm-g Podcast.com, and there's a newsletter link there where you can sign up to be on the newsletter email list if you would like to read our musings. And then we've got a new episode that comes out next week, and it's cacao. No, we took part in a cacao ceremony, chocolate ceremony, a couple weeks ago, and we actually recorded it and then talked to the person that facilitated the ceremony. So it's really, really, really interesting. It was the first one I'd ever done. So if you've never done that and you want to kind of learn what it's all about, join us. And there'll be a bonus episode. Like we did a recording of the actual ceremony, and then the conversation about what we experienced with the person that facilitated the ceremony. So we're going to drop both of those episodes next week. So get a little bonus. So I hope you'll listen in.
And it's Rosalie's birthday tomorrow, so join us with saying
Happy
birthday, Rosalie.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
guys.
we'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
Love you all.
Thank you so much.
Bye.